Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of OSINT or Oh Shit. I had posted on my story about what you guys wanted to see and hear when I do these podcasts, and a handful of people really wanted to know how I do my investigations using open source technology and information. I thought I'd take that a bit further and start off with the base of how I do my investigations, and then go from there, creating a few more episodes and really diving into how I do an investigation from start to finish. So I posted earlier this week one slide that had 3 bullet points on there. That's what I'm going to be using for these episodes. So the first that I have is identifying my purpose and goal, determining the resources needed, and then gathering the basic identifying information on the subject of the investigation. Now, most of the time, you'll have one person that you're doing the investigation on, whether that be an individual, a company, or a group of people. There's usually one major target, and so that's who that's who I'm going to talk about when I hit that last bullet point. So for the first thing of identifying the purpose and goal, it's just that. What is your purpose of the investigation? And then what is the goal that you wish to achieve? Is this a criminal investigation that you are a consultant on? Is this an internal investigation? Or is this a more of like a red team scenario where you're testing the company's security, or you're testing the security of one specific area? Those are kind of the three ones that jump out in my mind. So once you determine your purpose, now you have to look at the goal. What do I want to achieve? That all goes back to what the investigation is about. If this is a criminal investigation, you want to figure out if this crime happened. If it's an internal investigation, you want to figure out if the issue that is being handled internally and internally investigated occurred, whether that be saw a recent one about some embezzlement, or there was some extortion going on within inside a business. So seeing if that is actually going on. And then I completely forgot the third one that I was talking about. That just totally went right. Oh, the red teaming stuff. So the goal for the red team is, can you get in? Are you able to get past the security? Whatever it may be for the red team. That there's a lot of different goals that usually accompany that. But those are the big things that I would look for in your purpose and goal. Those are the 3 that you'll deal with the most. So we've identified the purpose and goal of the investigation. Now what? Well, let's determine what resources we need. Again, you need to go back to your purpose and your goal, and that's going to drive your resources. Is this, again, a parallel criminal consulting investigation? You're going to need people on the inside of that department to help you with different databases that normal civilians and normal private investigators don't have access to. You're probably going to need to know you're going to need to know specific information about that case. If you're going more of an internal investigation or a red team, internal investigation, that should be a little bit simpler because you work in that area and you should know, okay, I'm going to need personnel files, I'm going to need most likely surveillance video of where this person works, and I'll need some basic office tools to go along with the job. The red team is where it really starts to thrive. You can go as simple as, hey, I'm just going to go up and see if I can walk in. That's all I'm being paid to do. And with that, you really just need a get out of jail free card, which should be supplied to you by the client. If you're doing more of an in-depth red team, then you need to really figure out what your part in it is. Very rarely is it a one-man operation, and it really shouldn't ever be a one-man operation for any red team investigations or red team drills. So with that, it can be as simple as I just need me. It can be as, a little bit more intermediate as, hey, we're probably going to have to try and get in and access some secured areas. So maybe some lock picking. I need to see if I'm able to, if I have to do covert or overt entries. Maybe a can of air dust. You can flip that upside down to hit most heat sensor door temperature change doorways. All the way to, I'm going to kick down doors, I'm going to go in and steal things, and I want to just completely destroy their security system on a physical level. Then you can go to the cyber level of, I need a good laptop. I need to make sure that it's secure. I need to make sure I have the proper hardware. I need to make sure I have the proper programs. I need to make sure I have the proper accessories with it. Am I doing a man-in-the-middle attack at the company that they're working at? That whole spider web of just immense resources can go on forever. At the basics, you'll most likely need some type of office supply. 2 pens, pencil, some paper, rubber bands, tape, very basic. You'd be surprised how often you're like, crap, if I rip something, or man, a rubber band would be super helpful. So make sure you at least have those core items. In my everyday carry, I always have a pry bar, a little box cutter, a pen, and a small notebook, all in a little one leather pouch package thing that fits in my back pocket. So make sure you have at least those basics with you, and then determine from there how much further you need to go. And then we're at the next step. Now there can be some things in between determining the resources and gathering the basic information. Really the biggest one is gathering those resources. Once you have those resources and you've identified the purpose of the goal, my next step is to gather the basic information on that subject. Again, I'm assuming that we're looking at just one person. I want to know as much as I can right off the bat. That way I have a baseline, because if during the investigation we determine, well, this guy was on Instagram posting daily, he was on Twitter posting daily, and he was on Facebook posting daily, he was on Reddit daily, and now 3 weeks into my investigation he's completely dropped off of the face of the earth, I messed up. My trail has been picked up by somebody, and that person now knows. So before I even get started, I want to be able to create that baseline. With that, gathering that basic information, this part in about the OSINT framework, because I didn't realize something happened to my mic when I was talking, it got all crumbly. I like the OSINT framework because it has everything you need right under one tab, essentially, and I'll go over my resources and how I use them a little bit later in this. But essentially you have a base starting point for your investigations that has a list of different options that you can then expand and go from there to search for specific things. When you're doing open source investigations, I suggest you pick up one of the Mike Bizzell books and go through his process of creating a virtual machine. That way you can either save it or erase it, do whatever you need to do, but you're not using your main machine for it, because you never know what you're going to download, or what you're going to save, or whatever it may be. I also like to, or how I have my stuff set up, is I use start.me. It's a web page, start page thing. I really don't know how to describe it. It's just all of my bookmarks on a page that opens right up once I open my browser, and it has different containers for the different links. So I have it set up to where, okay, all my people finding stuff is in this container, all of my social media stuff is in this container, all of my miscellaneous stuff is over here. It was given to me by somebody, and then I have since made it larger and more up to date. So I would suggest reaching out to people that you may know or people that are in the industry, and go from there. I can't give mine out because I've updated it. I have sensitive information in there that I can't disseminate. So sadly, I can't give it away. If I can figure out a way to revert or find that original, I'll do that, and I can pass that along. But this has gone on for a little bit longer than I wanted. I wanted to keep this around 10 minutes. And I really want to harp on this being the bare bones of what I do. There's a lot more that goes into this, and while I would love to say that I am proficient enough and knowledgeable enough to talk about that in depth, I'm not. I know where my weak points are, and while I there's no open source or OSINT specialist little certification that I can give myself, but out of all the resources that I have at my disposal, some being, like I said, that I can't talk about, I tend to use a majority of the open source information and open source investigation techniques prior to using any of those databases, mainly because it's more fun. I do this because I like that chase, and this makes it to where I have that. So, like I said, this is the basics. You want to identify the purpose and the goal, determine what resources are needed, step down and indent to that of gather those resources then, and then that next step of gathering the basic identifying information on the subject. I'm not sure what my next 3 bullet points are. I'll leave that for another day and another post. Please let me know what you think. Share this video, like it, comment on it, please. Give me some feedback. You won't hurt my feelings, and I just really want to know how to make this better for you guys. So with that, have a good rest of the day or night, whatever time you're listening to this, and make sure you stay shifty.